Okay, so the theme of tonight's theme story is waste. I was thinking, what does waste mean? Waste of my time, waste of space, waste of breath. It could be wasted, wasted my life, wasted resources. What is waste? What is waste? It's an excess that's gone bad, it's a precious resource that's spent inappropriately, it's something that you just can't get back. And I started to go on this thing, and it just started to turn into therapy, so I said, fuck that, and I just found something else to read. Alright, this is called 1985, I found it on Reddit. And this is part of a longer thing, so I'm going to waste your time by not reading the whole thing. There, I tied it. Okay. And did I? Okay, all right, it's got this. Sorry. I really wish I had bought a watch. A watch would be really handy right now. As far as I'm concerned, my Android power is sacred, and who even knows if the clock would work? I've tried to judge the wisdom of turning it on and fiddling around to see what it says versus conserving power. I've walked around the block 3 times. This time, I stand in front, across the street. I see the tree house Mark and I played in, long gone by now in 2011. I see my mother start to escort a couple out of the front door, and I make my move. No need to make myself look any more odd. My dress has always been conservative, buttons down, slacks, etc., so I don't look too far removed from the stereotypical preppy guy. Even the Chuck Taylors are around in 1985, but who knows? I have a messenger bag that's definitely not 1985, and glasses too, but who knows this time. Hello, welcome to the showing. Yes, good afternoon. Come in. We have a lot of people today, but it looks like you might be the last. Are you alone? Yes. No, not a problem at all. Are you familiar with the neighborhood? Yes, I grew up here, but I haven't been back in about 25 years. Well, welcome back then. My mother leads me through the house, and we exchange pleasant banter about the house. She's 34, the exact age my girlfriend was in 2011. She's had 3 kids, though, and I'm reminded of those years when we were young, how she struggled to lose weight. She looks so young to me, though, but she's still mom. She is still Melissa, that woman who is my mom. We came back down from the 2nd level and look out from the kitchen onto the backyard. So is this where Mark and Josh played? Excuse me? Mark Bascom and his friend Josh. Yes. You know the Bascom's friends? I would say I know them very well. Right? But you look to be my husband's age. You've not lived here for 25 years. You know Mr. Bascom? Yes I do. My mother is tactful and sharp and looking at me intently. It is nerve-wracking and all too unfamiliar. In a moment of tension, I default and whip out my phone and go to unlock it with a swipe, and she sees it. It's turned off, so it doesn't take my orders. I look at his blank screen and the smudge across the bottom, and a desperate attempt to shield my 37-year-old self from my 11-year-old self's mother's inquisitorial gaze. What is that? Oh, it is nothing. As I realized my slip-up, I began to put it back in my pocket, but I see the look on her face. It has softened into interest. My mother always is a sci-fi fan. She gave me copies of The Martian Chronicles and Rendezvous with Rama. We shared that love of sci-fi all our lives together. Heinlein, Neven, Dick. She loved Dan Simmons when I gave her a copy of Ilium. This could be what I actually needed. Actually, it's something straight out of Star Trek. Intriguing. Here, come take a look. I power it up. It makes the Android noise and the screen comes on. I slid it to unlock. My girlfriend's face is on the screensaver, and without skipping a beat, my mother says, "She's cute." I don't know what to do. Everything about this device is 20 years and beyond where she lives now. There are all the icons all over my screen: Angry Birds, Bubble Blast, My Fitness, messaging, contacts. What's that little symbol? Looks like a phone. It is a phone. A camera, too. Take a look. I open up the camera and take a picture of her. I remember this very phone has pictures of her grandchildren, my sister's kids. See, I took a picture of you. I'm looking at the phone, but I see she's finally and rightly nervous. I hope I didn't push it too far. Someday everyone will have one of these. She looks at me a little afraid. I take out my wallet and I begin to empty it on the kitchen counter. My ID, my credit cards, my frequent flyer, my Dominic's card, my Best Buy reward zone. I lay them out all in front of her with my ID right in front. She looks right at it. Then I said what might have been the perfect thing. I'm just as afraid and nervous as you are right now. Well, I had to doubt that. I move across the counter across from her and I slowly remove my iPod, the USB drive. I begin to empty my bag, newspapers, magazines I brought from the train, but I also the wires I had from August. The Chicago Reader from earlier that week. I folded up crossword puzzles, the State from Chicago Red Eye to do on the train, with all dates all over them. I'm from 2011. I'm Josh Carlisle from 2011. I'm 37 years old. All of this here is what I have, and you can ask me any question you want until you're satisfied that I am who I say I am. Oh, really? She said. This is all very interesting. Am I supposed to go through all of this and be convinced of something? You don't look like you need money, so I'm at a loss to uncover what you want from a real estate agent in the suburbs. I can't say what I want. As you can imagine, this is a rare situation to say the least. Of course, I don't expect you to believe me, not right away. I don't have a lot of choices, well, legal choices. And I've never been one to dabble in legal solutions. You taught me that. She looks at me, holding a United Airlines reward card. Member since 2009, it says on the front. It's been sitting in my wallet for years and is scratched all over. She places it down and picks up the ID again. 2011 Illinois driver's license have a watermark on them and she still tilts it back and forth. This is a lot of trouble to go through and I'm not sure what a reward you are going to get. Don't you even want to hear the whole story of how I traveled through time and got here? Sure. She reviews everything on the counter as I tell her about returning home taken back in time, about becoming a thief and getting some cash. I talk about taking the train and reading about 1985 on the way home. I tell her that I know that everyone I was friends with as an adult was a child and that every older colleague and mentor now my age and likely to think me a clown. Who would I have in a world that I've been removed for 26 years of time, something I thought previously immutable? If my own mother and father couldn't look me in the eye and see who I was, then where was I to begin? Nowhere I'd know about. I would really be truly alone, left adrift in a new old world with nothing, no identity, no family, no skills, no training that I could document, and only a few $100s. No home, no car, not even a full change of clothes. All I have is a loose memory of 26 years yet to play out in a world that would probably come screaming back at inconvenient and useless moments. I feel like Merlin in the Once and Future King. I believe your copy was given to you by a college English teacher. She removes her hands from the counter, but stops short of taking a step back. I can answer a lot of questions like that, questions only I can answer. Which is really where all this is headed, isn't it? Unless I call the police and have you arrested. Isn't that the most likely ending here? I know you have some faith in things unseen, but my unwavering practicality comes from you. Time travel is impossible, at least highly improbable, and you'd be foolish to believe it. This is your wallet from 2011, she says, lifting up my flappy, empty leather wallet. Yep. She removes the money from the inside and starts reading them. 2007, 2009, 1999, 1998, 1981, 1987, 2010. You know, the papers and the cards would be somewhat easy to make for someone with an agenda, but this is difficult. Counterfeit money is hard, and to make it, you can do it. You wouldn't need to con people. A reasonable hypothesis. My 11-year-old son, who you claim to be, said that same thing to me today when I asked if he was going to put off his homework until Sunday night. Tell me something I don't know. I wasn't supposed to be your first child. My mother is a woman who's hard as nails. Perhaps she didn't expect her 37-year-old son to know she had a miscarriage before she carried me to term. Perhaps she didn't expect her 37-year-old time-traveling son to cut to the bone so quickly. But the doctors might know that, and I could have talked to them as part of an elaborate hoax, right? So how about I tell you when I knew Santa Claus was you and Dad 2 years ago, 1983. You and Dad got me a new bike for Christmas. Dad's mom was staying with us for Christmas, and so I was sleeping on the air mattress in the girls' room. The combination of anxiety and the unusual sleeping arrangements meant I was resting fitfully at best. You and Dad have always made Christmas great, laying out gifts in the living room as if Santa had left them. Well, this year, I thought I had slept all night. I got out of bed and I walked into the living room, and the only thing that had been set up was my great new red 10-speed bike. You walked into the room, saw me, and shooed me quickly out of the room. When I woke up, after sleeping the night away, finally I saw the bike, and my brain knew that you and Dad were Santa. I never told the girls. She looked me in the eye. gather your things. I need to call my husband. Don't go anywhere.